Hi folks, my name is Justin Topliff and I am a product marketer at HighSpot. I own our marketing competitive intelligence program and I'm really excited to be delivering the Intro to Product Marketing course as part of this product marketing mini degree. And by intro, don't mistake that for basic or entry level. Product marketing is complex, as a lot of us know. And the purpose of this course is to provide an overview and a baseline for many of the other areas that you're going to be learning about in other courses in this mini degree. So you're going to be learning about things like market research and competitive intelligence and messaging and positioning and pricing and product launch and everything it takes to be a great product marketer. But to get us started, we wanted to give you a baseline and a good foundation so that we can dive deeper into all of those topics in subsequent lessons. So for today's intro course, we want to cover 5 different things. The first is, what is product marketing? I know there's many definitions floating out there in the ether, and all of you have probably heard many of them, but let's get specific with definitions, with what product marketing looks like at B2B companies, with different areas of focus and how those evolve as companies grow. We're also going to talk about the goals of product marketing and some principles to live by, or tenets, as I like to call them, that you should keep in mind as you or your company is building out their product marketing function that will set you up for success. And then we're going to talk about some goals and responsibilities of product marketing and how we should be working with the rest of our internal customers, before diving into some of the key activities that product marketing spends a lot of their time doing, and have a good discussion on ownership, which is one of the most overlooked and most problematic areas for a lot of product marketing functions as they're scaling and companies are growing. And then finally, we'll end the lesson by taking a look at KPIs and other measurements for success so that you know what you should be paying attention to, since there's no shortage of metrics given the breadth and depth of product marketing's expertise, and also give you a way to quantify the return on investment and demonstrate the value that your product marketing team and function, or just you, if you're a solo product marketer, are bringing to the business. So let's dive into our first lesson and talk about what product marketing is and what it looks like at B2B companies. So first, let's define it. And the definition of product marketing is something that has eluded even the best product marketers for a long, long time. But let's take a trip down memory lane here. I, like you, when I got curious about product marketing, turned to Google. And at the time, I was fresh out of college and I was working at a startup accelerator, unknowingly doing a lot of product marketing type things that we'll talk about later. But I saw a product marketing role posted at a company's careers page that I was really interested in working for. And as such, I said, well, I guess I better figure out what product marketing is so that I can speak to it in the interview. And I started Googling, and as you can see here, a lot of other people are Googling and trying to figure out what product marketing means as well. And there's a lot of confusion, as you can see by the different search terms that you're seeing on this slide. And I think a lot of that confusion results from high-level definitions like this. And this is probably the definition that you saw as one of the first results on the search page. You may have seen some other ones from other vendors and training programs that you may have entertained in the past. But reading through this definition, it's very vague. And I like to call it buzzword bingo that B2B companies sometimes play. And just reading through this definition only confused me more. And I think it's difficult to understand what product marketing does from a definition like this. So after reading that, I tried turning to some of my colleagues who work in marketing or who are product marketers, and didn't get much farther, because depending on who you ask, you will also get a very different definition of what product marketing is and what product marketing does. And that's because product marketing looks a little bit different at every company. And product marketing also changes over time. And product marketing touches a lot of different things at businesses. You can see all of those things listed here on the slide that range from messaging and positioning to pricing to product launch to the list goes on and on and on. And I think that is why everybody has such a difficult time coming up with one definition for product marketing. And my definition for product marketing is actually that there is no one definition for product marketing. And while that may not be what you were hoping to hear, I think it's important to call out because as we'll discuss in subsequent lessons in this Intro to Product Marketing course, product marketing is different at every company that you go to because it is a function of the space that that company is operating in. It is a function of the stage of growth that that company is currently going through. It can also be a function of whatever is most important to the business at that point in time. And we'll talk about in the next lesson how product marketers' focus will shift as your company continues to grow. But despite all of these definitions or lack of definitions and all of the ambiguity around what product marketing is, there is one thing that is crystal clear. And that is that product marketers know our customers, the market, and our products better than anybody else at the company. And this, if we wanted to get as close to a formal definition, maybe this isn't a definition, but perhaps it's an ethos. This is the conviction that product marketers need to have and what we need to do and know in order to be effective at our jobs and help our companies execute go-to-market motions effectively. So we talked about product marketing's definition. We talked about how it touches a lot of different areas of the business. Let's get a little more specific into that. And let's talk about where product marketing can and should live. Product marketing sits at the intersection of a lot of different things, but the most important ones you can see here. So product marketing lies at the intersection of sales, marketing, and product. And that makes a lot of sense because two of those things are in the function's name. But the other thing that I want to call out is that product marketing is not limited to working with just these three audiences. When we launch products, we will work with literally just about every other area of the business. We will work with the finance team to determine pricing and packaging. We will work with engineering to make sure that the product is actually ready to go. We'll work with revenue operations or sales enablement teams to make sure that everything is lined up. So these are the biggest partners that product marketing will have and the ones that we're focused on today as part of the Intro to Product Marketing course. But there are many other teams at your company that you will be partnering with if you are a product marketer. The other thing that I want to call out that is left off of a lot of these different Venn diagrams trying to articulate where product marketing sits in your company is that, yes, we sit at the intersection of a lot of different internal audiences, but we also are subject to a lot of external pressures that you can see from the arrows here. So we have market dynamics that we are dealing with constantly. Markets are not stationary. They change and adapt and grow or shrink over time and go through their own maturity cycle, very similar to the product maturity cycle. And we're also subject to competitive developments. So depending on what our competitors are doing out in that market landscape and the confines or dynamics of that market, that introduces more pressures that we have to deal with and influence our work. Likewise, investors in your company. If you are like me and you've worked at a bunch of different SaaS startups in varying stages of growth, investors do have a lot of say in what goes on and what is important to the business that will influence your work and focus as a product marketer. And finally, our customers. I think this should probably really be a big circle that goes around all of this. But at the end of the day, again, product marketers need to be masters of the market that we operate in, our products, and also our buyers to do our job effectively. So customers, I would argue, is our number one external resource or external audience that we should be taking into account. So now that we've discussed where product marketing functionally sits in companies, let's talk about where product marketing can sit organizationally in companies. So product marketing does a whole bunch of different things. We interact with a whole bunch of different folks at the company. The two most common areas where product marketing falls in the org structure is either rolling up through marketing or rolling up through product. And this makes sense if you think about it. Again, the two words in product marketing are product and marketing, and those are the audiences that we do work most closely with to do our jobs and where the bulk of our activities fall. And there are pros and cons to each. And I personally have operated rolling up through marketing as well as rolling up through product. And I want to help you understand what the benefits and trade-offs are. So rolling up through marketing has a couple different benefits. The first is that, again, a lot of your activities as a product marketer are marketing related. And marketing skills are also relatively easy to accumulate. And as a product marketer rolling up through the marketing org, you get the benefits of being closer to the market itself. Right? Marketing is focused on being out in the market at events and broadcasting messages and championing the product out in the market to this external audience. So if you are a relatively new company, that can be a good place to start to make sure that you're remaining very close to the market itself so that you can learn more about the market and competitors and customers and your buyers. The other benefit is that you're closer to revenue. So marketing is a very revenue-focused organization, and like we'll talk about in a bit, product marketers should care a lot about revenue. So if you want to make the most impact or have the most influence on revenue, reporting up through marketing is a great place to be. And then finally, another benefit to reporting up through the marketing organization is that you're closer to marketing programs. And a big part of our job as product marketers is to shout from the mountaintops as to why our product is amazing and all of the customer needs, problems, and challenges that it helps solve to the market. So if that's a big focus, especially for you if you're in an earlier stage company, but really any stage company, marketing can be a great place for product marketing to reside. On the flip side, there are reasons and a case for product marketing residing in the product organization. And the largest one has to do with the complexity of your product. So if your product is a very technical product or one that is highly complex with very detailed or complicated use cases for highly regulated industries, perhaps like finance or healthcare or corporate purchasing, then it could make sense for you to reside in the product org. And the benefits that come with that are that you are closer to the product. So it's easier for you to develop the product knowledge that you need to be a more technical product marketer. You're going to have to spend a lot more time understanding different use cases, understanding the product architecture and how it actually functions and works, and perhaps even regulatory components of the product so that you can message all of those to your audience. And being closer to the product will only help your product knowledge there. And with this advanced product knowledge that you've gained, it's also easier for you to articulate and land more complex use cases with a highly technical audience. So those are the different areas, organizationally speaking, where product marketing can reside in and at your company. If you are just starting out, again, and you want to get close to the market, close to your customers, then marketing might be a great place for you to reside, at least initially. Likewise, if you are operating in highly complex industries and have a highly complex product, then product is also a great place to reside. At the end of the day, the thing that I tell product marketers and early stage companies who are looking at making their first product marketing hire or just starting the function or starting to pay attention to some of the function's activities is that it doesn't really matter where product marketing sits. And that's because product marketers, we don't spend a whole lot of time at our desks. Great product marketers are always away from their desks, arguably. We are out having conversations with colleagues in other areas of the business that are in other teams. We are out of the building having conversations with the market, with current customers, with prospective buyers, attending events, having conversations with analysts, trying to be sponges and soak up as much knowledge as we can everywhere across the business and the market that we're operating in. So don't fret too much about where product marketing should reside. I would also encourage you to think about if you are a new product marketer joining a company and you have the ability to make the case for where you would like to report to, or again, if you're an early stage company that is thinking about making the first product marketing hire and standing up the function, also think about which executive may be the best champion and advocate for product marketing, because there's going to be a lot of paradigm shifts as you're starting up. And you want a great champion who is going to champion product marketing across all areas of the business and educate everybody on how they should be working with product marketing and the value that product marketing is going to be bringing to the business, and also each of those separate functions. So that's why I say that interlocks and rhythms across the business are more important than product marketing's home in the org chart. And great product marketers will do all of this naturally. It will happen naturally. They will be away from their desk inventing these interlocks and also rhythms with other areas of the business. So don't worry too much about organizationally where product marketing should fit, at least to begin with. So we've talked about what product marketing is, where it should fit in the business, the different partners that it works at. Let's talk a little bit about one thing that I think we don't talk enough about, and that is how product marketing changes as companies grow. And again, I think part of the reason why people have such a hard time defining product marketing is because product marketing is fluid. It needs to be fluid. As your company grows, when you were an early stage company, product marketing should look very different than what it looks like now when you're a growth stage company or an expansion stage company or a mature company. The focus totally changes. And I think that's where a lot of folks get stuck. And what I encourage everybody to think about is that everything in life is a maturity model. If you think about markets and industries that you've operated in or purchased from, those industries are very much a maturity model. If you think about technology in general, in aggregate, it has gone through quite a maturity journey over the years. We've gone from 3.5-inch floppy disks all the way to an iPhone that is more technologically advanced than the space shuttle before it was retired. And same thing goes for companies, for markets, and also for functions, namely the product marketing function. So what I would like to do is go back and take a look at all of those different things and activities and responsibilities that product marketing touches or is responsible for or influences, and break it down and help you understand how focus changes as your company grows and as your product marketing team grows. So first, let's take a look at product marketing's focus in early stage companies. Okay, so let's put ourselves in the shoes of an early stage company or a startup. Perhaps you currently are working in an early stage company and startup, in which case a lot of this will not be news for you. However, let's think about the types of activities that early stage companies are focused on, right? Startups are just identifying new problems in the market. They are ideating new products to solve those. They are standing up all different areas of the business to try and put together a go-to-market motion to take that product to market. They have to do a lot of the baseline work, like creating content, creating a pitch deck so that they can go talk to investors, creating the sales deck so that you can actually try selling to your first customers. And all of those activities that happen in the early stage are things that product marketing should be supporting for companies in early stages. So a lot of product marketing's focus for early stage companies lies in strategy. And this strategy encompasses things like market research. What does the market landscape look like? Competitive research. Who are our competitors? What are they doing? Where are they going? What should we be doing to counteract that and make sure that we are producing a competitive product? User research. Let's talk about what our customers' lives look like, what their biggest challenges are, what their pain points are, what they need help doing so that we can build a product that satisfies those. And then once we do have a product built, how are we going to talk about that product in a way that resonates with those customers based off of what we have gathered? Once you've done all of that, your attention is probably going to turn to customer acquisition. How can we support getting new customers? Do we have other folks on the marketing team that we could work with? Do we have somebody who's working with demand gen? Or even the sales team? How can we help them find more customers to sell to and actually secure those customers? What content do we need to be able to sell to those customers? So all of these things together, we're piecing together the go-to-market strategy for the company and the product, which is really exciting. It's also a lot of work. And after you have that go-to-market strategy pieced together and you've worked to do that as a product marketer, there's also a lot of internal communication that needs to happen. Because one of the largest things that product marketing drives, regardless of what stage your company is in, is alignment. And It is critical to have alignment, and the only way that you can get alignment is through great internal communication. So these are some of the items, and probably not all, of product marketing activities that are relevant to early stage companies. So now let's talk about how product marketing changes to support growth and expansion stage companies, ones who are no longer startups, who are not quite mature companies, but are somewhere in the middle, which is the really exciting area, and also why this slide has the most red on it compared to some of the other slides. Okay, so with early stage companies, we've done a lot of the foundational work. We have a go-to-market strategy somewhat defined. We know a little or enough about our market and the customers who are in that market. We understand what their pains and challenges are. We also have started some internal rhythms with other areas of the business and started thinking ahead to, okay, we're going to need to sell this product, so we should probably go talk to sales. We're going to need to market it, so we should start thinking about what materials look like for that. Expansion and growth stage companies, a lot of this is going deeper on each of those motions, but also optimizing what we have already built for them. So when we think about our approach to market and the market and competitive landscape and everything there, instead of just maybe one slide that we put together on competitive intelligence, we're actually going to dig deeper and really understand each of our competitors that are out there in the market. We might double click into market and buyer research to better understand problems and set us up for success when it comes time to refine our messaging and positioning, especially after early learnings that we will gather as an early stage company when we start selling into that market. Perhaps when we think about customer acquisition, we might get a little more advanced and start thinking through segmentation, right? Does it make sense to target anybody or everybody? Probably not. So which segment should we be going after? Which ones are the most lucrative? Who is holding the money? Who has the checkbook to actually purchase our product? Enter persona research. Likewise, pricing and packaging. How much are we actually going to charge? A lot of companies start out just guessing and setting a price or benchmarking it against a competitor, which is fine, but as we'll learn in a subsequent course in this mini degree, is not the best way to conduct your pricing strategy. And likewise, once we do start selling, or as we're getting ready to sell, what are we going to do with sales training? Are we actually enabling our sellers and helping them understand how the product functions and understand what is important to our buyers and what they care about so that they can articulate the value and match our product with those buyer needs and challenges and have a really good narrative? But also, what does sales training and enablement look like? Somebody is going to have to educate sales on the market and the product and our customer. And like we've already discussed, product marketing, a lot of times in growth and expansion stage companies, is the best person to do that because we have mastered all three. So it's really common for product marketers to actually play double duty and also conduct sales enablement in expansion and growth stage companies. And we'll also learn more about that in subsequent courses in this mini degree. So now that we've talked about product marketing's focus in early stage companies and also growth and expansion stage, let's close out by talking about what product marketing looks like at more mature companies. So as you can see, there's a lot less red on this slide. And that's not to say that the breadth of product marketing's activities or influence is only limited to these things. This is to say that these items are now prioritized because we have focused and gotten all of the other activities that we saw on the two previous slides in a good spot. So now we have the luxury in a lot of cases as a mature company to now be able to focus more on optimization as opposed to building. Obviously, there will always be a building component. We're always launching new products, even in mature organizations. The market is changing for mature companies who are operating in more mature markets, albeit the changes are different or sometimes less fast than early stage and expansion stage. But nonetheless, there's still a lot of work to be done in terms of optimization. And optimization looks like a couple different things. If we think about our product, that could be, okay, as our initial products are reaching maturity and we've done a really good job satisfying customer needs with those, how are we going to anticipate new customer needs or the needs of tomorrow? And how are we going to build products that satisfy those? What about the profitability of our product portfolio? That's something that mature companies care a lot about. And making sure that everything that you're selling and your products are performing well. When it comes to marketing and sales, you may have gotten sales enablement and training and your sales team in a really good place. But again, it's all about optimizing. So how can we reduce rep ramp times and get them selling faster? How can we accelerate quota attainment? How can we increase revenue across the board? That's why all of us are here, is to make money. And then also we start thinking about how we're going to keep all of that revenue that we worked really hard to get. So revenue retention and customer retention becomes massively important in any stage, but especially for mature companies, because again, we're trying to optimize. We are trying to protect and keep the company healthy from a financial standpoint. So this is where win-loss analysis may become super important, is to make sure that when you may be at parity with some of your competitors and, at a glance, you all kind of look the same, digging in and really understanding what decision drivers buyers are paying attention to and basing their purchase decisions on, so that you can fine-tune all of those and better compete and continue to succeed in the market, even as a mature company, becomes of greater importance. So this concludes lesson 1. Product marketing in B2B companies, and I hope we've given you a better understanding of the different definitions, or at least the North Star definition of what product marketing is, and also how product marketing resides both functionally and organizationally within your business, and also a glimpse into some of the key activities that product marketing does that we'll discuss in a subsequent lesson. But more importantly, how that focus and those key activities change depending on the stage of growth in which your company is in.